You know that stand heavy kick? Actually, even when we say we do it early enough, I will actually challenge anyone who believes this. Stand heavy kick actually loses to certain jump-ins. Necalli jump heavy punch beats standing heavy kick. Jump heavy punch from Urian early beats stand heavy kick. So even if you want to get your there's so many things. I mean, we're not even bringing in like I'm not even gonna bring in like Kami EX dive or you know like we're not even gonna let's talk about jump in normals, right? Like the basic. We haven't even got there yet. Yeah, we're not even like I don't even want to bring special moves.
Yo, have you ever had this happen? You try to press it early and they don't press anything, and your button whiffs and you get full punished.
And they land with advantage.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, nice.
Or just a regular heavy kick hits and it's not a crush counter. It's like, well,
that happened to me against
was that 80?
Guile's jump heavy kick is stupid.
Oh man, yeah. The Guile matchup is,
bro.
I think it's. There's a difference between knowing the matchup and they don't know the matchup. If that's the case, I think the Guile matchup, it's okay. But when they know the matchup and you don't, or you do know the matchup at Sagat, it's so bad. It's like you need the life lead to survive in it. And if you don't get it, it's a steep uphill climb to get to a winning position. When I play V-Trigger 1 against Guile just to survive against his V-Trigger, like, what are we doing here?
Jibbo, I swear I remember when I was playing this matchup. I think when Sagat first came out, I think it was, like because I started playing Sagat immediately from when they did the Evo announcement, and I remember saying in the beginning, I'm like, "There's no way Sagat can beat Guile. Like it's impossible." You can go check my Twitter logs, whatever. I actually remember saying this, and like there were a lot of people who were saying, "Nah, it's not that bad," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is that bad because you literally." Are one of the only characters that cannot. So typically, you actually want to block the boom closer because you don't. And when Guile had that sonic boom, exactly, you don't want to give him that advantage during the recovery to actually go in and walk in on you off of light boom. So the goal was, even if you watch earlier footage of Bonchan or higher level Sagats, they will block the boom. They will just walk and block and take the chip. And actually, they wouldn't even play the fireball game because all you're trying to do is just walk and block into into Guile until you can reach you reach either V-Trigger or you gain your super bar. Because the only way actually to close out the Guile matchup, in my opinion, consistently, is to say V-Trigger plus super. You cannot EX in that fight. Because the minute you save both, you have the ability to activate on reaction to boom and then do super. So you're gonna get your 380 damage. So you always have a closing against Guile. Because it's like what Jibbo said. If he gets V-Trigger, and he's going to put the offense on you, and he's already beating you in the zoning game, and he's taking all that chip, there's no way you can come back from that.
And he's building his V-Trigger easier than you are, because he can charge.
Yeah, that's true. Because of
it's so hard for Sagat to get the V-skill in that matchup, too. I feel like the only edge you can have in that matchup is knowing how to uppercut V-skill booms with the car uppercut or regular uppercut. But a good Guile should never do that. They should already have the advantage to build a V-skill preemptively.
I think that's why that matchup is so frustrating, because it literally shows that they know how to implement a character in this game that has a good fireball. So like, imagine if Guile literally only has Sonic Boom. His mid-range was trash. With his normals, he didn't have his mobility. The character might be able to survive on something like V-Skill, but they took care of Guile. When you play Guile, you realize that, yo, Sonic Boom is really fucking good. But I can go rounds without using it and be fine, right? Like, even though it defines the character, I'll also just play mid-range and punch you in the face over and over again with like back heavy punch, Sobat kick, whatever it is, the character can exist. I think with Sagat, like, and it goes back to the original point we made, anytime you try to beat Sagat, because the game is telling you, hey, your only good thing, honestly, might be this Tiger Shot if you want to win neutral. So use it. But then I go against characters who have just as good a fireball as me, even though they have to charge it, but then they have mobility.
It feels like another V-skill situation as with Urian. You're locked into throwing the fireballs against Guile, but it's not in your favor to do that.
And that's the thing. Now I'm playing this character who's like jack of all trades and master of some, not none. Like, it feels like Guile's allowed to be really damn good at multiple things, while also being better at the thing my character is supposed to be able to do, depending on, you know, and that's based on how they designed the character straight up. So you know, it's just frustrating. I think that's the most frustrating I get with the character when I realize, damn, I can't Tiger Shot. My Tiger Knee is worse than his knee, and all he has to do is press a button to get it to come out. It's not projectile. It's not projectile invincible. So even if I'm in the mid range and I just want to like pull a piano move and just turn off the brain real quick, I can't even EX knee to guess, oh yeah, you're going to do Sonic Boom here, and I'll be able to get corner carry. Like there's nothing redeeming about these moves. It's either, yo, I think the only thing you get from spinning a meter like special is an EXDP, and it's invincible to everything. There's no projectile invincibility, no throw invincibility. Like, and we haven't even really talked about knee yet, but I feel like that's also why Sagat just feels so damn one-dimensional. Knee is not in this game. I played Street Fighter 4 for the first time in months, like a few months ago, and really like tried to learn Street Fighter 4 Sagat. It is amazing that that character in that game actually has a Tiger Knee. I'm not saying it's the best move in the game. I'm just saying they have to worry about it. In this game, at no point, if I'm in the mid-range, does an Akuma have to worry about me doing Tiger Knee in his face, unless he gave me the 30 seconds it needs for me to get my B skill 2 off. So, you know, it's just frustrating because then it puts you in this mindset where it's like, bruh, instead of doing like fucking geometry over here and trying to figure out 2 + 2 = 4, and I can throw these Sonic Booms and press one button for a plus knee, and you just gotta deal with it. Good luck. So, you know, I just wish they gave Sagat like the same amount of just care, I guess, and making sure he was taken care of. So
Denson, you know, I think this is a good segue to go into Tiger Knee, and I think Javits actually brings a good point about Tiger Knee, and I think Zaf, you've also highlighted it 9 million times, the dead zone. Yep. So yeah, you guys can talk about that. Yeah, talk
the
about
medium
that
lightning.
dead zone.
Oh,
Javits, did you have something?
I got an aneurysm just thinking about it.
Yeah, so I'll mention it. So basically, one of the issues with Tiger Knee, it has a lot of issues. First, I just want to put that out there. It has a ton of issues. As Denson mentioned, it has very slow startup. Even the B skill 2 powered Tiger Knee, the only thing that those Tiger Knees have going for them is that they have additional frame advantage, where if you miraculously are able to land it, then you might be plus at no throw mix up though.
Damn.
So I just want to put that out there.
I don't want to disagree with you because I know what you're saying. But
yeah. So the problem with the Tiger Knees though is that the light knee has short range, and then and to make it safe, it has to hit literally at the tip, and it's still not even plus. I think at best you can make it at 0 or maybe -1.
0, yeah.
like, only that.
And then so once Tiger Knee is traditionally a move that's used to help Sagat advance forward while attacking, because he doesn't traditionally have good walk speed. So that's what Tiger Knee is supposed to cover. Like once they step out of his range of his pokes and you know, maybe at risk for jumping over his Tiger shots, that's like a good, usually a good spot to throw out Tiger Knee. But in this game, the range at which light Tiger Knee misses, and you start to try to use medium knee, the medium knee is at best -5. So there's like no good position where you can use medium knee and fill in that little bit of a gap where light knee starts to become an unusable move. Like there's no middle ground for that move. And aside from it being unsafe, it's also like significantly slower. So it's like it's harder it becomes increasingly harder to find spacings and setups to use a move that it really shouldn't be rocket science to try to set up a safe Tiger Knee.
It's not even like anti-air until like frame 10 or something like that.
Yeah, so it has like very slow startup. It no longer anti-airs. That's another thing that Tiger Knee used to cover a certain space where if they were to guess jump or neutral jump, they would get hit by the Tiger Knee. But in this game, for some reason, it just pushes them, but it doesn't actually hit them, and then they can actually come down on you.
Yeah, you can see the push box. The push boxes interacting. If you do a tiger knee and somebody's jumping at you, both characters move, and Sagat's out there with his knee, like, come on, man, would you get up a little bit higher? It don't work.
Yeah, and then he just ends up losing clean. So it's like it starts to make you wonder, like, what is this move supposed to be used for? Like, it's not plus. It's hard. It's very slow. It gets really no Oki. Like, maybe lightning gives you some Oki, but generally they get thrown so far and they back roll that you don't really get significant Oki from it. So it has very, very limited use, low reward, and it's just a very, very bad move. I think they need to make it faster and safer. I think it's that simple.
Yeah,
just make it a little faster, make it a little safer.
It feels like the move. It's a move that you use with the possibility that it'll work, regardless of how masterful you are with it. That's so frustrating because I take a lot of pride in my spacing, but because of these weird dead zones and the slow startup, people will walk up, accidentally block it, and then now you're -5, which is absurd. And you know, you get in on Sagat with his stubby limbs and doesn't convert easily off of light attacks. You're rushing him down like he's a grappler character, well, unless he has bar.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just like there needs to be some sort of reward with it. It doesn't have to be brain dead like Urian's EX tackle or Balrog's EX dash, but like if somebody is has a lot of intent behind their use of it, they should be rewarded, you know? That's all I'm asking. Like if I'm setting it up where I have this read on my opponent, like if I have a faster knee, I could, you know, I could low crush and stuff like that, but the move doesn't function the way it's supposed to because of how slow it is. And it's
easy to view reversal as well if they do happen. If you do happen to space it correctly and they stand still, true. And you actually have the +3 to be in some kind of grab range and get no Oki from the grab that you do, they can just view reversal and stop it. But there's another thing I want to talk about with that knee that doesn't get talked about enough in Street Fighter V, and it's for every normal, and it's proximity guard. Your ability to move away from normals. In Street Fighter V, nearly every move, I don't even know of a move that doesn't have it, the first frame activates proximity guard. Depending on the spacing of it, it determines when you are stuck in block. A good example is Laura's Thunderclap. When she does Thunderclap and you're even pretty far away, you're just like, why can't I move? Yeah. Sagat's Tiger Knee, the EX version has pretty good proximity guard, but the light, medium, and heavy, if you're at the tip where you need to be to get the plus frames, and they just happen to walk back, they can do it. The proximity guard doesn't reach them. So your Tiger Knee whiffs and you look stupid. You lose the rush down in front of all your friends.
I just want to throw in this one little funny thing that I'm sure you guys have experienced. So, you know, Sagat has a little cute setup where if you do a back throw and you do an EX Tiger Knee, which you have to spend... What you have to spend meter for, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the back dash?
when
just hold back. So just hold back.
Just moonwalk.
So moonwalk. Michael Jackson away from that.
So that I find that hilarious when, you know, the fact that you have to spend meter, and you're like, oh, this is a cute little setup that, you know, gives me plus frames, and then when they learn that they could just walk back and get a full punish.
I mean, I know why that happens. I know why it happens because for it to be +3. It has to hit on the final active frame, but when you stand up, right, your hurt box gets smaller. So like a lot of knees will hit 1 frame later on a standing character, and they'll hit a frame earlier on a crouching character.
Yeah, because you're more narrow, right?
So basically, when you're crouching, it's +3, but if you stand up, you're smaller. So now it's whiffing because the final active frame only hits on crouching.
And that applies for all the knees. If you do it in neutral, if they get hit standing or crouching, the frame advantage or disadvantage changes depending on how they get hit. So it's another obstacle to getting a quality knee. Like most of the time when I throw a knee, I'm just aiming for it to be safe. But the precision
I love this character, guys.
It's not
I
even...
love this.
They can fix that by adding 1 more active frame to EX knee. Then he'd have actual open.
We went from +3 to -1 billion just because a guy stood up.
Yep.
like that's we're even like debating this. Like we don't even need to put more thought into this. Like literally, everyone on the stream, you just hold back, and we are now -1 million. We spent a bar so that you could punish us. Thank you, God.
Reverse Oki.
It's crazy because like we're sitting here, legit. Like when you think about playing Sagat, I thought about what you said, Jibbo. Yeah, like I'm actually hyped if I get a -2 knee I'm like, yeah, damn right I spaced it like that. Absolutely. Yes,
Lucky it didn't hit you. Maybe I would have got a beast kill off of it.
You're like, oh, I didn't get punished?
Yeah.
Sweet. That was good.
Block that jab?
That's so silly.
Yo, -2. I got close to Falk. Good shit, guys. Like we did it.
I didn't get crushed counter on the way there. Oh wow. You shouldn't have.
She's on the other side of the screen now. Whoops.
All right, God.
I want to take this opportunity to I know we were doing a little bit of tier list discussion, but I don't want to just derail that conversation. I feel like we could get back to it, but I think it's obviously, there's, while we're all here, let's get straight to the point. I have this wish list here. I want to preface it by saying I'm not even going to ask for anything outlandish. I think a combination of quality of life buffs to Sagat will actually make him the strong character that he needs to be. All right, so if anybody has no objections, I suggest that I'm gonna go straight into my list.
Okay. All right, can we limit it to like five buffs?
Yeah. I had like 20, but yeah, sure. I'll say that.
I'm
pretty sure somebody's gonna say your whole list. So.
All right.
God damn.
Ballpark 20.
God damn.
All right.
Okay, go.
He had to whip it out.
Go.
All right. So I'm gonna say my 5. Let me just give me a moment to look at my list just to make sure I gotta pick 5 out of these.
I can go if you want. I already got my 5.
All right, cool. So all right. So first of all, I would like his Tiger Cannon, the V-Trigger 1. I think it should be 3 cannons instead of 2. And a way that they could balance that out, because it is a nice damage extension, and he does get, obviously, the Fireball Cancel, which is a nice conversion to have. That's personally the reason why that's the only V-Trigger I use now. I think if they make it, instead of each cannon doing 120, they can make each cannon do 100, but give him 3. I think that would be a nice buff. 3-bar V-Trigger, 3 cannons, kind of makes sense. It would kind of help him a little bit of that comeback factor that he lacks so terribly. So that's change number 1. Change number 2. I mentioned this one earlier. Speed up Tiger Shots. If I had to just pick one, the heavy kick Tiger Shot, the low Tiger Shot, the fastest one, make it a little bit faster. I think it would help him never. It would make it a better poke in neutral. It would help him in Fireball Wars. Low forward into Tiger Shot would never uncombo, which does happen sometimes. So I think that's a simple quality of life buff that would help him tremendously. So that's 2. 3, I would speed up his dash by 2 frames. Right now he has a 20-frame dash. I know 75% of the times that I dash, I always get hit. I don't know why. It just Sagat doesn't seem to have a dash in this game. He has very slow walk speed, so if I could at least choose, if I had to choose walk speed or dash, I would choose dash, because at least you could kind of like get in, maybe sneak in a throw here and there, put in some of his terrible up close game that isn't even that great, but at least he could dash. I wish he could do that. That's change number 3. Let's see, change number 4. This one is not a big one, but I feel like his overhead is pretty useless right now. I would speed that up by 3 frames. Boom. Just make it 17-frame overhead. Don't change anything else about it. It would help his shitty up-close game a little bit if you could sneak in some overheads. Maybe make them like stand up for some
definitely not 20 frames.
His overhead not 20.
That's just 26.
It's 26, yeah.
So much worse than I thought.
All right, speed it up by 9 frames. Fuck it, 9 frames. Let's go. All right.
Yeah. Speed it up by 9 frames. Let's go.
Yeah. All right.
That's overhead in the game.
And yeah, it's terrible. Lastly,